Did our last top 10 underrated guitar players leave you feeling unsatisfied? Did you experience audio problems? Were you unhappy with the choices? Well, you left tons of comments with great suggestions of who you think should be on the list. So I've taken those comments and put together that list for you today, right here on GearGasms. Hi kids, welcome to GearGasms. I'm your humiliated host, Alan Barnes, for another crack at the top 10 most underrated guitar players in rock history. The first one, as you know, if you had an Android phone, it was trying to take my stereo voice and convert it to mono for some reason. I don't know why. I've got an iPhone. I don't know where you people get your phones. I don't know what your deal is, but I guarantee you we got it fixed for this video. Oh, before I forget, t-shirt shout out time. Don't worry about audio problems, kids. We're not going to have them today. And why? Because the same guy that's doing all the lip sync stuff for Paul Stanley on this last tour, the dude that's making his tapes that he's fake singing to, that guy did all the audio for this, so there should be no problems whatsoever. This list's not quite so arbitrary in terms of me picking them. It's arbitrary in terms of you guys picking them. I saw so many great suggestions, and let me tell you something, kids. You guys have great musical taste, and we're doing this video for you guys. Austin Trevathan and Peter Skiaraba, I hope I said those two names right. Those were two dudes that kind of voted on the same thing. We're going to cheat here a little bit. One of them said Mark Ford from the Black Crowes. The other one said Rich Robinson from the Black Crowes. And that was a guitar duo like Joe Perry and Brad Whitford of Aerosmith, or Stone Gossard and Mike McCready from Pearl Jam. Mark Ford and Rich Robinson of the Black Crowes were a guitar tandem that was not to be denied. Very understated stuff, kind of rootsy. Mark was a ferocious slide player. He came on with the Black Crowes just in time for their second album. Both of those guys deserve to be on this list by themselves, but in order to save space, save face, and get 2 more viewer listings into this video, we're going to put them together. Underrated. If you don't like this next one, blame Guitar Covers 03. That's the guy's screen name on YouTube, because he picked this guy, and I know it's going to draw a lot of heat, but C.C. DeVille of Poison. C.C. DeVille is widely mocked, routinely looked down upon in the guitar communities. I'm not saying that he's underrated in a way that he was so great and people didn't give him credit. What I'm saying, he's underrated in that people want to say he's garbage, and he's not that bad. Forget about whether his solos were any good, but they were singable, they were melodic, they were catchy, they were concise, they weren't technically difficult. But that man wrote a lot of the riffs that took Poison to the highest level, including their first hit. But C.C. DeVille is criminally underrated in that he's not garbage, he's pretty decent. So he's on the list. Next up, K.K. Downing. No, not the guitar player. Some dude on YouTube who calls himself K.K. Downing. I'm pretty sure it's not the real K.K. Downing. He gave us the name Ronnie Montrose. If there were no Ronnie Montrose, there probably could have been no Eddie Van Halen. He formed a band named after his last name, just like Van Halen. He was a guitar player who didn't sing, just like Van Halen. And he had a blonde lead singer named Sammy Hagar, just like Van Halen. But Montrose with Sammy Hagar should have been 10 times as big as they were, and probably would have been had there not been conflict and had Sammy not wanted to go on and do his solo career. But Ronnie Montrose deserves to be on this list. Fantastic guitar player, super underrated. Next up, Chris Peterson. He threw tons of names at us. My hair got blown back. Whatever's left of it, blown straight back by the list of incredible names he gave us. So I could only pick one of them. Uli John Roth. I'm not sure how you say Uli. Is it Uli? Is it Uli? Who knows? His real name was Ulrich, but he replaced Michael Schenker in the Scorpions, and he was there before Matthias Jabs. He brought such an amazing appreciation coming from a blues-based background, started getting all the classical influences into his playing. The Scorpions was a very different band because he was just so different, so way out of left field. He still plays to this day. He's still astral. He's still psychedelic. He's still flipping weird, but he's still brilliant. Now, Weedy Guitar Studio put this next one on the board. We're talking Reb Beach from Winger. I know, hold your groans. I said Winger, but let's get past Kip and all the flaunting around that he did in the videos. Yeah, it was kind of disturbing to me too, but Reb Beach sort of took all that two-handed tapping thing to a whole new level. Since leaving Winger, Reb has spent time in Dokken, currently in Whitesnake, unforgivably underrated. While we're speaking about underrated guitar players, how about a band that's overrated? It's the band that's right behind me on that window back there, The Doors. So overrated. Maybe I didn't do the right drugs. I like some of it, but I just can't. There's no bass player in that band. The lyrics are indecipherable at times. Shocking songs about incest and weird, bizarre, trippy stuff. But we've got the Lizard King looking out for us in this video, nonetheless. Now here's another guy that more than one person put on this list in the comments, but Bark Eater is the pick that we're going with, just because I love the screen name. Not sure what's going on there, not sure I want to know, but John Sykes. Let me tell you something, if it weren't for John Sykes, there'd be no Whitesnake. That eponymously titled Whitesnake album that blew up in '86 or '87, that was 99% John Sykes. His songwriting, his riffs, his solos, the brilliant background vocals on that record were also John Sykes. David Coverdale would be nothing without John Sykes. He got the shaft, he got booted out of the band, he wasn't in any of the cool videos, unfortunately, but John Sykes is one of those guys in the history of rock that was just always so close and so criminally underrated. We had to put him on this list. Giordano picked out this next one. It's Richie Kotzen. Richie Kotzen started off on the Shrapnel label. He was like a young shredder. He was joined Poison, replacing CeCe DeVille. It was a change for Poison. His playing was definitely, even though he had a shredder background, still much more organic and earthy. Things didn't go so well in Poison for Richie, notwithstanding the fact that he banged Ricky Rocket's fiance. That's his drummer. That's your drummer, dude. You don't ever do that. Leave the girlfriends, the wives, the moms, the sisters, and depending how old the band is, the daughters of your band members. Leave him the hell alone. There's so many fish in the sea. Richie, what is wrong with you? Richie is amazing. He plays a Telecaster, but he shreds it up on it. He plays with his fingers, no pick. Here's a surprise. The boy can sing, and to really be a true virtuoso on a Telecaster, no less. Richie Kotzen is phenomenal. Plastic Beach. Yeah, I'm looking at you, son. You put the next one on this list. It's Terry Kath of Chicago. Man, oh man. Jimi Hendrix once famously said that Terry Kath was the best guitar player he knew. He tore it up on early Chicago albums, but Terry Kath was more than just a guitar shredder. He could write, he could sing. Had this fusion of rock and jazz. He could sort of bring it all together. Terry Kath, phenomenal guitar player. We missed out on a whole lot of music, so enjoy this clip. Also on the list, picked by Scott Connor, is Ty Tabor. Where have you heard that name? King's X. Ty Tabor brought something really multi-dimensional to the band. He brought a Beatles influence, a psychedelic influence. He certainly had the shredder chops. I think maybe my theory is why it didn't happen for Ty. It might have been the look, but he looked more like John Sebastian of the Lovin' Spoonful, or maybe Mrs. Cotter, or maybe Radar O'Reilly with a wig. But be that as it may, the dude was a fantastic guitar player, criminally underrated. And finally, number one. Number one comes to us from Jay Bolivar, but it's Jakey Lee. That guy, that poor soul that had to come into the Ozzy Osbourne band right after Randy Rhoads and the plane crash. Enormous set of shoes to fill, but right hand syncopated, open string stuff. Have you ever tried to play Bark at the Moon? It is not easy. It's a right hand workout from hell, but he never got the credit he deserved because he was in that unfortunate spot of having to follow the brilliant but short career of a man who still stands tall amongst guitar players today in Randy Rhoads. But let me tell you something, Jakey Lee, fantastic guitar player. Well, kids, we were able to come up with yet another top 10 underrated guitar players list. I had a lot of fun doing it. Thank you for your time as always. We'll try and keep this fun and informative. I'm still answering comments. Punch the like button, smash the subscribe button. But most of all, most importantly of all, join us here every week for new stuff. I'm Alan Barnes, And I really, really want to see you here every week right here on GearGasms.